guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Angela and I make faith and lifestyle videos. For today's video, I'm actually going to be doing a chit chat, get ready with me for my birthday dinner. I just had my birthday a few days ago, and so I'm just getting ready for a dinner with family. I've done a few of these on my channel before where it's like 25 things I learned at 25. So this year it's 28 things that I learned at 28, and I just like wrote them down in my journal. So I'm just going to be like chit-chatting with you guys and just running through the list as I get ready for dinner. First things first, get the hair out of the way. First, I am going in with concealer. This is always my first step. I do the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind concealer and just put it under my eyes. And then the first thing that I have on my list of things that I've learned and just like advice for your 20s that I wish that I could tell my younger self is to put God first in everything. And I really wish that I would have learned this sooner, because it would have saved me a whole lot of heartache and trouble. But what I mean by this is truly just to like seek him in everything that you do, whether that's in friendships, in career, in relationships, just to seek God's will. And truly, like, by seeking him, like developing a relation with him, including him in every aspect of your life, and listening for instructions, seeking him for him to guide you in your life. Really just putting him first in everything you do, not second, not third, not all the way on the back burner, but just putting him first. And the second thing I have is that God's closed doors are for your protection. And this is something that I've had to really trust recently. And I used to be so like, I guess what's the word, like frustrated, or yeah, just like frustrated when things that I wanted in life wouldn't work out, and I just like wouldn't understand why, because like I would think that it's, you know, so good for me, and obviously it was something that I desired. But over time you learn that God truly takes things out of your life or closes certain doors because they're not meant for you, or because he has something better. It's easier said than done for sure, but I can look back on many times where like there's something that, you know, there's a closed door that happened and I don't understand in the moment, but then months later, years later, I end up being so thankful that he closed that door, because he either replaced it with something better, or it's because it truly like wasn't good for me, and then he opened my eyes to that. Also, now I'm going in with this contour stick by Mario, and I'll leave all the products I'm using down below in the description if you guys are wondering what I'm using. But I am just going in with a little contour. And the third thing that I learned is that it's okay to outgrow certain friendships in your life. And as someone who just like really truly values friendships, like this can be easy. I mean, not easy, this can be really hard to let go of certain people. But some people I've learned are just meant to be in your life for a season, and some people are meant to be there for a lifetime. Not everyone that you meet is meant to go the distance with you, and that's okay. I would just focus on continuing to surround yourself with people that you want to be more like, because you truly are the average of the 5 closest people you surround yourself with. Surround yourself with good, godly people who truly are good friends and care about you. And also pray and ask God to bring good, godly friendships into your life, because he wants you to be in good community. The fourth thing, which I'm doing my eyebrows now, is regarding your career and your passions. And I would say to anyone who's like figuring out their career or what they should be doing with their life or their occupation, is to follow your arrows. And what I mean by that is to take note of the things that, like all the little things that you're interested in, or all the little traits that you think that you have. Like, are you super organized? Are you super interested in math and science? Are you more interested in reading? Do you love to help others? Are you more of, you know, of a service industry? Or are you a people person, good at sales? Kind of just take inventory of like what your strengths are and also what your interests are. I think your arrows are just like the indicators, or the things that kind of like light you up along the way in life, are really great indicators to maybe what your purpose is and what you're supposed to be doing. Number 5 is everything is figure outable. And that, I feel like that's so true, because we live in the age of Google, in the age of YouTube. Like if there's anything that you want to figure out how to do, Google it, ask someone else, learn from other people. Like we truly are able to figure a lot of things out on our own, whether that's like how to travel to certain places, how to get into a different industry, how to start a YouTube channel. Like I feel like if there's something that you want to do, get after it and learn about it and keep that curiosity alive. Number 6 is don't take life too seriously. Like make sure to have fun. Say yes to trips, say yes to different adventures. Like life at the end of the day should be a joyful experience. And number 7 is be yourself. You are the only you out there, and God made you specifically, uniquely, and individually on purpose for a purpose. And I know in this day and age, it's so easy to compare your life to someone else's and maybe look on their social media and think that they have it so much better, but like, you truly don't know what someone else is going through, and all you can do is be who God created you to be. I really wish I would have known that when I was younger and maybe didn't quite like some of the things that made me different from other people, but now like those specific traits and attributes about myself are like my favorite things about myself because it makes me different. So be yourself because you are amazing and you are fearfully and wonderfully made by God. Next, I'm going in with some eyeliner. This is the NYX Epic Wear Liquid Liner, and it's waterproof because if I don't have waterproof eyeliner, it just like smudges all over my eyes because I have really oily skin. Okay, this next one is on the topic of dating, and it's something that I feel like I just constantly go back to, where you can tell if someone is, you know, a good or bad person for you to date with consistent action over time. So if they're consistently doing, you know, all the right things, pursuing you in the right way, and doing that over time, that's kind of a good indicator that things are going well and to proceed, because anyone can put on a front for like the first like month or the first 3 months. Anyone can pretend that they are the most amazing guy or girl ever, but it's truly if they're consistent and when it's over time, that's when you kind of get to know a little bit more. And also number 9, it has to do with dating as well. It's to date from a place of abundance and not a place of lack, and that really resonated with me because I think it's so important to date from a place where you're not like, I lack something, like I'm so lonely or I'm so bored, and because of that void that I feel, then I want someone else to come in and fill those voids. So instead of dating from a place of lack or like I need someone to complete me, to date someone from a place of like I am good on my own with the Lord, like I feel confident in my relationship with God and I'm confident in my identity as God's child, my identity on my own, to where like if someone came into my life, it would be a blessing and it would be an addition and bonus to my life, not something that I just like really need and want to get, you know? Going in with some mascara, and number 10 is that everything works out the way that it's supposed to, and this really is the truth. Like I wish I would have told my younger self to stop striving so much to get the things that you want, or like to not hold so tightly to what you have, and to keep an open hand and seek God for what his will is, because truly, like, I'm reminded of the verse Romans 8:28, where it says, in all things God works for the good of those who love him. What's meant for you is for you. What God wants into your life, he will protect it and it'll stay in your life, and what he wants removed, he'll remove it. And everything really does have a purpose, and everything does work out for a reason and for his greater purpose. Number 11 is to really get to know God. Take the time to read your Bible and really get to know God's character and who he is. It will be like your rock for your entire life. Getting to know your creator, the one who created you and loves you and knows everything about you, and just realizing like your identity in him and how much he truly loves you will be the best like investment for your soul that will carry you throughout the rest of your life. And I feel like the best way to do that is to read the Bible, to read the book that God gave us to learn more about him. And if you're new to the Bible, I highly recommend starting in the book of John, because it goes through the story of Jesus and it's a very easy read. There's only 21 chapters. So that's actually the book that I started with when I first started to read the Bible for myself. And it just helped me to learn more about Jesus and learn more about why God brought Jesus down to earth to save us. So I highly recommend just taking the time to truly get to know who God is. And I actually have a John Read With Me Bible study on my channel, so if you are interested to read through the book of John with more, you know, of a deep dive, someone to read with you, definitely check those out. But I love the book of John and it really helped me to get to know the character of God more. And then number 12 is to be kind, and that should just go without saying, but I love the quote that says, be kind, for everyone is fighting a tough battle. And that's so true, because you truly truly never know what someone might be struggling with, so it's just so important to be kind to everyone. For number 13, this is for all my Enneagram 3 achievers out there, is to rest more. It's okay to take the time to rest, be in solitude, have one-on-one time with God, and do things that make you feel at peace and restful. I read this book called The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry by, I think, John Mark Comer. It's so good. It just changed my perspective, but it's so important to take the time to nurture your soul, to pour back into yourself, and to really like take the time to have soul rest. So highly recommend that book. Okay, number 14 is to always take the time to be thankful. And I know this is like easier said than done, but truly just like making it, just being mindful and being intentional about being thankful, whether that's having a gratitude journal, just taking time out of your day to say a prayer of thanks to God. But I feel like that's truly how you remain joyful in your life. Like that's truly how you can keep a joyful, peaceful outlook when you focus on the things that you have and that you're thankful for, and not on all the things that you lack. Number 15, and I'm going in with this new blush that I got, but it's to spend time in nature. And I don't know about you guys, but I am definitely a big nature girl. Like I love going on hikes and just like going for walks in nature. So there's like, you know, the physical fitness aspect of it as well, but also just when you look around and see God's beauty and really just like pay attention to it, whether that's the birds of the air or the flowers in the field, or just like the trees growing around me, or like the lake or the ocean, like there's something that just does something to me that brings so much peace to my soul. And especially when I'm like standing next to an ocean, I'm just like, wow, like God created this and it's so much bigger than me. I feel so small in comparison, and I just feel like it reminds me of how big our God is. And so like whenever I feel like anxious or stressed or sad, like I think being around nature and just being reminded of the beauty of God really helps me. So definitely recommend doing that more. And then number 16 I wrote is to invest in yourself, especially in your 20s. Like now is the time to build skills, like to learn new things, make new friends, surround yourself with people whose shoes you want to be in someday, invest in yourself. And for me, like something that I have done recently is just learning to cook a lot more, learning to do a bunch of new different recipes, learning how to invest, learning how to do different workouts, just like trying a bunch of new things, traveling to new places. Like I think that's something that in your 20s especially, but throughout all your life, to just remain curious and to keep doing things that interest you and learn more. And then number 17 is kind of similar, and it's just to try new things. I think it's so important to just kind of get out of your everyday routine every now and then and learn something new, try new things. Like if there's something that you want to learn more about or something that you want to try more, I would encourage you to just do it and try it. And I feel like it's part of like what keeps life interesting and fun, like finding new hobbies to do. Recently I've been really into reading, and I joined a book club through one of my friends, and I got a Goodreads account, and I'm starting to like put down all the books that I've read and want to read, and it's just like exploring this whole new part of my life, and it's been so much fun just like reading all these new books. And I used to not like reading, and now I'm like, it's so fun. So definitely try new things, because you never know like the next hobby or the next activity you might fall in love with. Number 18, and I'm going in with this Laneige Glowy Lip Balm in Berry. But number 18 is to travel and to say yes to trips or even any fun staycation plans, but to just travel more, see the world. Like I think that that's so important to just take in like different cultures, and it's also so fun to do with friends. So definitely travel more. I also recommend doing solo travel trips. I've only done one so far, but it really just like lets you learn more about yourself, and when you're traveling alone you just learn so much. So highly recommend doing that as well. Number 19 is something that I feel like is always easier said than done, but I feel like in a world where it's kind of like all about me, like it's very we live in a very like self-absorbed world, but that's not what Jesus calls us to be. He calls us to love our neighbor as ourselves, and sometimes I think even I personally like, can get so caught up in like, okay, let's just focus on my life, my day, what makes me happy right now. But I think something that I've learned as getting older is in order to be able to love others well, when you walk into a room, don't think about, okay, how can I benefit from these people here? How can I, you know, get something out of this? But instead to have the outlook of, okay, how can I serve the people here? Or when I'm talking to someone, okay, how can I serve them? How can I love on them? And I feel like that's helped me to strengthen friendships, strengthen my faith, strengthen my character. So that's definitely advice that I would give to my younger self. Number 20 is to journal more often. And this is something that I've just always loved to do. I just have always been a big journaler. I used to write in my diary all the time. Now I write in a journal to God, and I write out like my prayers. And this is something that I also do every year on my birthday too. But I think it's so cool to go back and see like just like the way that you thought when you were younger, or just like the things that have happened in your life, and specifically like the prayers that God has answered and the prayers that he hasn't answered, and you're like, oh well, thank God he didn't answer those prayers. I just think it's so cool to be able to have a document, like just your life documented, and prayers that you've seen have been answered over time. That's something that I try and do often, and I really enjoy it. And it's also very calming to just like sit down and like write and just put pen to paper, since we're always like on our phones and typing. I feel like there's something calming and peaceful about just like sitting down with a notebook and just like writing out your thoughts. And then number 21, and I think this is especially important when you're in your 20s, is to surround yourself with friends and people that make you look more like Jesus. And I mentioned this a little bit ago, but you truly become the sum total of the 5 people that you surround yourself with. So if you're constantly surrounding yourself with people who are negative or gossiping or, you know, bitter and just always bringing others down, that's most likely like how you'll start to be as well. You'll start to take on some of their attributes, versus if you surround yourself with people who are kind, who love others, who serve and make you look more like Jesus, like you're scientifically more likely to become more like those people. And so important, especially when you're, you know, making friends and choosing who you want to speak into your life, to select people who truly are for you and who point you closer to God. This also applies to dating as well. Like make sure you choose someone who loves the Lord and who truly makes you look more like Jesus. And then number 22, kind of in the same vein as that, is to do not settle. Don't settle in dating, don't settle in friendships, don't settle in your job, your career. Don't settle for anything less than what you want. Life's too short for that. And if there's something that you want, get after it. And also don't settle to be treated any less than you deserve. Don't settle for someone who doesn't respect you. Don't settle for a job where you're kind of just feeling purposeless there. Try and create purpose there. Try and reach out to someone, or try and be the light in that room. But don't just accept your circumstances for what they are. If you don't like them, you have the power to change them. Number 23 has to do with reading, which I mentioned is something that I have been very into recently, but I highly recommend for everyone to read. And I have a Kindle. It's the best thing ever. And I feel like it's such a good way to just learn about such a wide range of different topics, like whatever you're interested in, someone's wrote a book about it. And you can really learn life lessons a lot quicker by reading through what other people have learned the hard way. Also, I really enjoy reading before bed. I just feel like it's like very calming for me. It's just like a good activity. If I'm ever feeling anxious, I feel like it's a good way to like take my mind off things. So highly recommend reading. And then number 24 is that healthiness starts now. I feel like maybe in a couple years ago, or like when I was a teenager, I would always think like, okay, like I'm just gonna eat whatever I want, not work out, do whatever I want because, you know, it's fine. Like I'm still so young. But truly, like if you want to be a healthy person, especially in like what you eat, your lifestyle, that all starts early on, that starts now. So whatever you do now, the habits that you create now, make good habits, because they truly like foretell how you'll be in the future. And your future self will also thank your past self for making good choices. Number 25 is to call your grandparents, call your parents, and just to call your family more often. It will often make their day to just like randomly hear from you, so definitely make it a point to do it more. Number 26 is to give God room to speak in your life. And this is something that I have learned a lot this past year, because life can get so busy, and sometimes like if I don't take the time to truly just rest. So it kind of goes into what I was saying before with just like slowing down and resting. But when I don't take the time to rest and I'm just constantly go, 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 even with my quiet time with God, even sometimes I find myself, okay, I'm just reading the Bible, check, doing devotional, check, going to church, check. But then if I'm not like taking the time to truly slow down and to just seek God and to spend time just in his presence, maybe not even just like doing things for God, going to church and all that, but just like spending time with him, spending time in his presence, then I don't hear from him as clearly. And I think that like a lot of times, you know, when we pray to God, it's not just like a one-way conversation. Like God has a lot that he wants to say to us too. And when it says, when you seek him, you will find him. If you draw near to God, he draws near to you. And I think it's really not until I get quiet and I really seek the Lord and spend time in his presence that he has downloaded to me. He's really spoken to me or really just shown me next steps in a certain area. But I learned that in order to truly seek him and spend time with him, I can't have all these distractions and have all this busyness all the time. Okay, number 27, we're getting to the end, is to seek peace and pursue it. And that's actually from Psalm 34. But something that I would tell my younger self is that truly seek God in everything that you do. He is a God of peace and not confusion. And when it's the right path, when you're not in willful sin, when you are truly just seeking his will for your life, so much peace and confirmation will come with that. And if there's an area in your life where there's not peace, I think that's, you know, kind of an indicator to examine that area a little bit more closely to see if any changes need to be made. But that's something that I think is so important, is to follow the path of peace. Okay, and then lastly, number 28 is to trust God with everything and with all your heart, because he truly loves you so much and he has so much good planned for you. Like all the days of your life are already ordained and written in his book. And I always go back to this one passage, which is Proverbs 3:5-6, where it says, trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not on your own understanding, and all your ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight. That's literally the verse of my life, because I have such a hard time not leaning on my own understanding. But I always find that the times that I do, when I just let go and have a posture of open hands and say, okay, God, I trust you with this, and trust where you're leading me. When I truly just like trust God, and that comes from, I think, just knowing his character and from his track record in the past. Like he's never failed me before, and just knowing his character, how much he cares for you, how much he loves you, makes it a lot easier to be like, okay, like you know best, I will trust you and not in my own strength of what I think is best. And to just sit back and truly like let your heavenly Father hold your future in his hands and hold your life in his hands. That has brought me such an inexplicable amount of peace and joy into my life. So it's definitely something I would tell my younger self, is stop trying to figure it all out for yourself. God's got you, and just seek him, seek his will, and just trust that he's so much more powerful than you. He's so good, he loves you, and that he knows what he's doing. Okay, so that was 28 things I learned at 28, or just advice that I'd give to my younger self. So thank you guys so much for watching and getting ready with me. I like doing these little chit chats just to like catch up with you guys. Let me know if you want to see more videos like this. Hope you guys are having a wonderful week, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.